There's one truth about love that most people never realize until it's too late. The very thing that makes someone fall in love with you forever isn't how much you give, how much you please, or how deeply you care. It's the one boundary that shows you love yourself first. True love begins where need ends. Most people enter relationships believing that love will fill the void inside them, that another person's attention will finally make them feel worthy, beautiful, or enough. But real love doesn't grow from emptiness. It grows from fullness. The moment you start needing someone to complete you, you begin to lose the very energy that makes you attractive in the first place. When you seek constant reassurance, when your happiness depends on whether someone texts you back or validates your feelings, you unconsciously hand over your power. And what happens when power leaves your hands? It creates imbalance. One person begins to chase and the other begins to withdraw. One gives too much, the other takes too freely, and the dance of love turns into a struggle for control. But when you no longer need validation to feel valuable, everything changes. You start to vibrate on a different frequency, a frequency of peace and self-trust. You begin to understand that love is not about possession, but about recognition. It's not about finding someone to hold on to. It's about finding someone who recognizes the strength of your soul and stands beside it. When a woman stands rooted in her own worth, she becomes magnetic. She doesn't chase love. Love comes looking for her. A man can feel that difference, even if he can't explain it. He senses that she's not looking for him to rescue her from loneliness. She's looking to share her already full heart. This boundary, the line between need and choice, is invisible, but it is powerful. It tells the world, I am complete with or without you. That energy doesn't repel love. It draws in the kind that stays, because deep down, men don't fall in love with women who need them to survive. They fall in love with women who choose them despite not needing them. Choice is what gives love its depth. Need binds love in fear, but choice frees it to grow. When you can love someone and still be whole without them, you give that person the gift of freedom. You tell them, I want you, but I do not depend on you for my happiness. That kind of love feels like sunlight. It warms without burning. The greatest relationships are born between two whole people who come together to create something greater, not to patch each other's wounds. When you live from that place of emotional independence, you start to attract people who respect your strength instead of testing it. You stop confusing attention with affection and control with care. You learn that silence can be love, space can be intimacy, and boundaries can be the deepest form of connection. When you no longer fear being alone, you stop settling for half-hearted love. You stop begging for crumbs because you remember you are the feast. And in that remembering, you radiate something irresistible, an energy of calm, quiet power. Men sense it instinctively. They fall in love not with your perfection, but with your presence. They fall for the peace you carry within yourself. And that peace is what makes love last forever. A woman's greatest power lies in her ability to say no without guilt and yes without fear. This sacred act of self-respect is not arrogance, it is awareness. It's the understanding that your worth is not up for negotiation, that your heart is not a playground for those who do not know how to treat it with care. When you carry this kind of respect for yourself, it teaches others how to love you. You no longer have to demand loyalty, effort, or honesty. Your energy commands it. You stop trying to convince anyone of your value because your boundaries speak it louder than your words ever could. Men fall in love with women who respect themselves because that kind of woman radiates clarity. She knows what she deserves and refuses to accept less. When she says no to disrespect, she's not closing a door. She's opening the right one. Every no becomes an act of self-love, a declaration that she will not abandon herself just to be chosen. And when she says yes, it comes from a place of wholeness, not fear. That's what makes her love powerful, because it's intentional. It's not born out of desperation. It's born out of alignment. The truth is, respect is the foundation of all lasting attraction. Looks fade, words lose their sparkle, and even passion ebbs and flows with time. But respect, the deep admiration for someone's integrity and strength, remains. When a man truly respects a woman, his love deepens over time because it is anchored in something real. A woman who sets boundaries reminds him of his own capacity to rise, to give more, to honor something sacred. She doesn't demand that he love her a certain way. Her presence simply invites him to love her better. Self-respect also creates emotional safety. When you value yourself, you attract people who value you too. You stop entertaining inconsistency, manipulation, or emotional games. You stop chasing closure from people who were never open to begin with. You understand that peace is more important than proving a point. This calm strength doesn't make you hard, it makes you steady. And steadiness is magnetic in a world full of chaos. A man may be drawn to beauty, but he stays for respect. He may admire charm, but he commits to strength. When you hold your standards high, you call forth a part of him that wants to be worthy of your love. You awaken his protector, his provider, his deepest sense of purpose. But none of this can happen if you lower your boundaries to make him comfortable. The right man doesn't fear your limits. He's grateful for them because they show him the path to your heart. Respect yourself so deeply that anyone who enters your life immediately knows how to treat you. Speak kindly, act confidently, and walk away from anything that asks you to shrink, because the love that is meant for you will never ask you to betray your dignity. It will meet you at your level, rise with you, and cherish the boundary that made him fall in love with you forever. Emotional independence is one of the most magnetic energies a woman can possess. It is the quiet confidence that says, I am whole before you, and I will remain whole even if you walk away. This kind of strength does not reject love, it refines it. It is not coldness or pride, it is peace. A woman who has mastered emotional independence does not need constant validation to feel secure, nor does she lose herself in someone else's approval. She knows that her emotions are her responsibility, that her happiness comes from within, not from another person's attention. And that kind of power makes love not just possible, but eternal. When a woman stands firm in her individuality, she becomes like a steady flame that cannot be extinguished by rejection or silence. She can love deeply, yet she never loses her sense of self in the process. This is not about being distant, it's about being balanced. Emotional independence allows her to give love freely without fear of losing control. She knows that love given from freedom is stronger than love given from fear. A man feels that energy and becomes drawn to it because it's rare. It tells him she is not searching for someone to complete her. She's looking for someone to complement her. That difference changes everything. This boundary is not a wall. It's a vibration. It communicates without words that she will not stay where she is disrespected or taken for granted. It shows that she is capable of walking away from anything that violates her inner truth. And in doing so, she earns something priceless: respect. Because a man can't truly love what he doesn't respect. When he sees that she values her peace more than a need to please, he realizes her love is sacred. He understands that she will never beg to be loved, but she will always give her heart fully to the one who values it. Emotional independence also protects love from becoming toxic. When both people stand in their own emotional power, they can give without resentment and receive without guilt. There is no suffocation, no chasing, no endless cycle of blame. Love becomes a choice made each day, not a need born out of emptiness. And that choice is what keeps the connection alive. When you know you could be fine on your own, but you choose to stay, that love becomes the most beautiful kind, free, intentional, and powerful. A woman with emotional independence doesn't run from vulnerability. She embraces it because she knows her worth remains untouched by anyone's response. She can open her heart without losing herself. She can love without losing balance, and that makes her unforgettable. Men may admire many things in a woman, but what captures their soul forever is her ability to love with depth while standing firmly in her own power. That calm, self-assured presence makes him feel safe, inspired, and endlessly drawn to her, because in her strength, he finds his own reflection, and in her independence, he discovers what real love truly means. Love is not spoken through words alone, it is communicated through energy. A man may hear your voice, but what truly reaches him is the frequency of your presence. Words can promise love, but energy proves it. When a woman lives in alignment with peace, confidence, and inner fulfillment, her energy becomes magnetic. She doesn't chase affection or manipulate emotions to be noticed. She simply exists in truth, and that truth draws in the kind of love that is pure and lasting. Men are not just attracted to beauty, they are drawn to emotional harmony. When your energy radiates calm self-assurance, it tells a man that your love is a sanctuary, not a battlefield. Energy never lies. You can say you're fine, but if your spirit carries need, insecurity, or fear, it will speak louder than your words. Love is a mirror. It reflects back whatever you are inside. If you carry self-doubt, you'll attract partners who confirm it. If you carry self-respect, you'll attract people who honor it. The most powerful boundary in love is not one you speak aloud. It's the energetic line you carry within you that says, I am peace, and I will not let chaos live here. When you embody that, people feel it instantly. It's not what you do, it's who you are. A man falls in love forever with the woman whose energy feels like home, not because she gives him comfort by sacrificing herself, but because she holds her own center so firmly that he feels safe to be himself too. Her calm teaches him that love doesn't have to be drama. Her confidence shows him that he doesn't need to play games to feel wanted. In her presence, he feels both challenged and cherished. And that combination awakens something deep within him, a desire not just to be near her, but to rise to meet her energy. Energy also teaches through example. When a woman honors her boundaries without shouting them, when she forgives without losing her standards, when she listens without absorbing negativity, she becomes a silent teacher of love. A man learns how to treat her not because she demands it, but because he feels it. Her energy says, I love you, but I love myself too. That unspoken balance is what keeps attraction alive long after the first spark fades. You become irresistible when your energy is grounded in truth. When you stop trying to prove your worth, the world begins to see it. When you stop overgiving to earn love, love begins to flow towards you naturally. The right person won't be captivated by how hard you try to impress them. They'll be moved by the peace they feel when they're around you. True connection is energetic alignment, not emotional dependence. So cultivate your inner light, protect your peace, be so rooted in your own essence that love is not something you chase, it's something you radiate. And in that energy, the right man will not just fall in love with you, he will stay in love with you because your peace becomes the pulse that his heart recognizes as home. There is a quiet strength in knowing when to step back. The boundary of emotional space is one of the most misunderstood yet most powerful forms of love. Many people fear that giving space will make someone lose interest, but in truth, it deepens connection. Space allows love to breathe. It allows two people to feel, reflect, and appreciate what they share. When a woman understands the power of emotional space, she becomes effortlessly magnetic because she is not driven by panic or the need for control. Her silence is not punishment, it's wisdom. Her distance is not rejection, it's respect for her own peace. When you can step back without fear, you send a message far stronger than any words could express. You show that your love is not desperate, that your identity is not tied to someone else's response. In a world where constant contact and instant replies are seen as proof of love, space becomes rare and therefore powerful. A man feels this energy immediately. He begins to realize that your time, your attention, your affection are not things he can take for granted. The pause you create becomes a mirror, reflecting back to him the depth of his own feelings. It makes him notice what life feels like without your presence. And that awareness awakens true appreciation. Space gives rise to longing, and longing strengthens love. When you constantly chase or overcommunicate, you don't give love a chance to grow in the other person's heart. But when you pull back gracefully, when you let silence fill the air, something beautiful happens. He begins to feel your absence in a way that words could never create. And it's in that feeling that he realizes how much you matter. Absence, when used with intention, creates presence. It transforms ordinary connection into something sacred. This boundary also protects your emotional well-being. It allows you to see clearly who values you and who only values convenience. The right man will respect your space because he knows it comes from strength, not ego. The wrong one will resent it because he feeds on control. By maintaining your distance when needed, you naturally filter out what is not meant for you. You stop begging for energy that was never freely given. And instead, you open space for a love that moves toward you on its own. Stepping back is not about withdrawing love. It's about protecting it. It's about creating enough emotional room for both people to grow. A healthy relationship needs rhythm. Just like breathing, there's an inhale of closeness and an exhale of independence. Without space, love suffocates. With space, it thrives. The woman who knows when to give space never has to beg for attention because her calm absence speaks volumes. It says, I love you, but I will never lose myself for you. That balance of warmth and strength makes a man not only fall in love, but stay in love because he learns that your presence is not a given. It's a gift. A boundary is not a wall that blocks love. It is a gate that allows truth to enter. Many people misunderstand boundaries as barriers, as ways to keep others out. But in reality, they are invitations for real love to exist. A woman who carries clear, calm boundaries does not scare love away. She protects it. She doesn't build her walls out of fear. She builds her structure out of self-worth. And that difference changes everything. When you draw your line with peace instead of pain, you are not saying, I don't need anyone. You are saying, I value connection too much to let it be mistreated. That kind of energy doesn't repel people. It refines who gets close to you. Boundaries are how love learns to grow in safety. Without them, relationships become unstable, filled with resentment and confusion. But when you know what you will and will not allow, you teach others how to love you with integrity. A man who truly wants to be in your life will not be discouraged by your boundaries. He will be inspired by them. He will see your strength as something worth honoring, not something to fight against. Because deep down, people crave structure. They want to know where they stand, what is sacred, what is safe. A woman who holds boundaries teaches love how to feel secure. When you say no to what disrespects your peace, you are not being cold. You are being clear. When you walk away from chaos, you are not abandoning love. You are protecting it from being poisoned. Love cannot thrive in confusion. It needs clarity, and clarity begins with boundaries. The right man will see your limits not as restrictions, but as directions toward deeper connection. He will understand that your strength does not diminish your softness. It enhances it, because only a woman who respects herself can truly give love freely. Her love has no hidden resentment, no quiet anger, no exhaustion from overgiving. It is pure, balanced, and alive. Boundaries also act as a filter. They separate the uncertain from the committed, the shallow from the sincere. When you refuse to entertain mixed signals, emotional games, or inconsistency, you automatically invite loyalty, effort, and honesty. You stop asking, why doesn't he treat me right? And instead begin saying, I no longer allow treatment that hurts my spirit. And that shift in energy changes everything. You stop chasing love and start attracting alignment. The right person will not test your limits. He will respect them because he sees your boundaries as a reflection of your value. Real love is not found by bending yourself to please someone. It's found by standing firm in who you are and allowing someone to meet you there. Boundaries make that possible. They are not about control. They are about clarity. They say, this is who I am. This is what I deserve. This is how I love. And when you live from that truth, love no longer drains you, it sustains you. The man who is meant for you will not be intimidated by your strength. He will be drawn to it, cherish it, and fall in love not despite your boundaries, but because of them.